everybody, it's week 5 of Sheffield Libraries and Ignite Imagination's Summer of Creativity. I hope you're all having a brilliant summer and have been enjoying the summer reading challenge, getting lots of books read and taking part in our creative workshops. Don't forget that you can get a Children's University credit for these workshops, so make sure that you log it on your reflection diary. So, today we're going to be making some cool and wacky inventions to try and work out how we can capture those pesky monsters that live under the bed. Let's see what ideas Annie's got for us.
Hello everybody, my name's Annie. I am one of the artists from Ignite Imaginations, and today we're going to be making a monster tickle catcher. So, art materials that you will need for your tickle stick. You'll need a tube to base it on. Something like a tube from the inside of cling film. Tin foil would be good. Kitchen rolls good too. If you haven't got something like that, then even the inside of a toilet roll, you can use a couple like I've done here, and I've extended it with just a piece of regular thin card. Hopefully you can find something you can use there. Also got some tape, sellotape and masking tape. I think you could get away with either one. Some netting for the catchy bit on the end. I've used something from some mini cheeses. You might find this kind of netting around some fruit. If not, if you haven't got something like that, then the end of a carrier bag you can use. Also scissors, always handy. Some extra thin card as well, and then something to decorate around the outside. Got some old artwork and old magazines as well. Just general art materials. You can use wax crayons. I've used some paints. Just use whatever you've got. If you're wanting to make some monsters, then something like a lollipop stick or wooden pegs you can use, along with felt tips to decorate. And the shaky element, I've used dried pasta, but you could use any dried food you've got, or even some little pebbles. I think that's everything. Okay, time to get making. So this is my monster catching stick. It's a bit of a nonsense thing really, just something that I've made up for fun. A wacky invention if you like. So I hope that this inspires you to create something along these lines. Won't look exactly like mine because it's yours, make it your own. I'll show you what I did and hopefully that'll inspire you. The hand that I've drawn around is my daughter's because mine's a bit big, but I'll get that stick out the way and I'll show you that all I did was put the hand on the paper and draw around. See if you can fit more than one on the paper. If you've got smaller hands than me, then we're going to cut it out. There we go, that's my hand. I'll set him aside for later. I'm going to show you now how to make the netting at the end. So you can use some scrap card or take a sheet of A4 and then split it lengthways into 4. Once you've got one of those strips, fold it in half again and roughly find the middle. It's about there, and that's where I'm going to start off putting my netting. This is a bit of a fiddle. It's probably the trickiest part of this creation. And the idea is that we're going to fold the cardboard over the top of this netting to give it a more secure edge. I want to tuck it in. Try and persuade it to go in around the other side. Once you've got the cardboard going all the way around, you can pinch the end and secure that. That's the end that you're going to stuff inside your stick. Yeah, I think I could catch a monster in there. Pop it in. Oh no, my pasta nearly went for a dive then. So once I've put my netting in, I'm squeezing the end of the tube to secure it in place, and I'll show you why in a moment. have a look at the stick so far. You can see that. So the reason why we didn't want any gaps at the end is because I've got some dried pasta here, and I'll put that in, I think, after I've added my decoration. So my decoration is going to be old artwork. Oh, this sheet here. We've got quite a bit of artwork around at the moment, so I'm going to cut this up to wrap around the stick. You could use magazines, as long as you're allowed to use those. You could paint directly onto the stick, or you could add something like colourful tape. Whatever you've got to hand, whatever you're allowed to use, it's your creation, so up to you. There we go, some nice colourful strips there, and we're going to get them onto our monster catcher. I find it easier to put them on a bit of an angle. You can secure the end with tape. You could do this with like a Pritt stick type glue as well. And I'm just turning the tube so that the paper goes around it, wraps around it, to make it look nice and pretty. Nearly there. Okay, I'm happy with that now. And I'm going to add the shaky element, which I talked about earlier. So I've got some dried pasta shells. I'm going to pop those, you see, inside the tube. Hopefully I've sealed the other end up well enough for them not to come out. It wouldn't be so bad for a few pasta shells, but if you were using something little like rice or lentils, you don't want those to go all over the floor. I'm going to squash the end down now. Fold that bit of paper over. Tape him up. See if he shakes. So we're going to put some decoration on our stick now. Here I've got the hand that we made earlier. It's good for catching things, and a feather is good for tickling. We cut out our hand earlier. I'm going to give it some colour, and I'm also going to paint some feathers that we can stick on. Use wax crayons. If you've got pencil crayons, that's fine as well. I might use a combination of wax crayons and paint. Whatever pattern you fancy putting on. You could do some stars. I'm doing some stripes. Do the other side as well. Put some paint over the top. This is watercolour. Poster paint works the same. And your wax crayon will still show up. It's wax resist. Okay, just leave that hand to dry for a moment, and we'll go on to our feathers. So the other part of the cardboard that you used for the loop on the netting, you can use to make some tickly feathers. I'll try and do it upside down so you can see what I'm doing. Do a stem, is that the word, for the middle of a feather? And then a different colour. You could do them realistic if you want, or you can just do a imagined colour. Get some texture and some brush strokes in there. I always think my feathers end up looking a little bit like a leaf shape, but I guess they are quite similar. Green, I'm going to just add another layer of colour over the top. Okay, we'll leave that one to dry, and I'll use the one that I made earlier just to cut out. Cut out a basic shape first. Leave a bit of extra card at the bottom to stick it on, and then to get a feathered effect. I'm just using my scissors to cut in. Be careful not to cut all the way through, just around the edge, just to feather it. And then decide where it's going to go. I quite like the hands at the end. A bit of tape to secure that in place. And then a feather or two, and you can decorate it how you like. Okay, so now you've got your monster catcher stick, you might want to make some monsters to catch. I've got some wooden lollipop sticks. You could use something like a wooden peg instead. The advantage of these is you can draw directly onto them. I've used the old artwork again, just drawn around my sellotape to cut out a couple of circles for heads. This one I've drawn some monster features on. Just show you what I did. Put round the circle. You can make them whatever shape you like. I've got a felt tip pen, draw some eyes on. And a big mouth for my monster. Might do a bit of a tongue and some eyebrows. Stick those just onto the top of your sticks. If you have some googly eyes, some other craft materials, definitely a good opportunity to use those, but not essential. Could add, oh, she's upside down. Just using half a pipe cleaner for some arms. There, so I've made some monsters to catch with our monster catching stick, and if you'd like to join us next week, then I believe Lois is making some crazy creature creations. You could even catch those with your monster stick. Thank you.